But let's dive into now the week 2 running backs. And again, I also am open to, did you like this on Thursday? Did you prefer it on Tuesdays? I have my waiver wire show on Tuesday. I'm going to release my schedule after the show and show you guys so you can know when I'm going to be live. 7 p.m. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, every single day. And then Sunday, 11 a.m. for the sit start. 7:30 p.m. for the post-game tailgate recap, early waiver look. That's our schedule this year, guys. Would love to have you for every single show and get your questions answered for every single one. As you guys know, we do. So what we love about it is to answer you guys, be user-centric with you. Alrighty, Christian McCaffrey, tier of his own, doesn't need much explanation. New Orleans does have a good run D, the toughest last year, and they just stymied Aaron Jones, but you can't stop McCaffrey. Didn't score a touchdown, and he's still the number 1 running back. That hasn't happened in like 2 decades. For fantasy. Dalvin Cook at Arizona, not a great run D. I think he's going to be just fine. Solid 17 points without scoring. I think we're going to get at least 1 touchdown this week. Kamara, what needs to be said at number 3. Carolina was one of the worst run Ds last year. I was expecting more against Green Bay, especially with the points they put up. I was a little concerned with the target share, but I think he's going to be fine moving forward. Now, Henry, do we panic? What was going on there? Pretty busty performance. What running back finish did he have by the end of the week? RB30. Oof, that's tough. And probably even worse in half PPR formats because the guy doesn't catch. RB20. Oh, he did have 3 catches. So that was maybe the one positive takeaway for Henry. I think against Seattle, they're going to get this offense going again. Tough first week for Todd Downing, but I expect them to be significantly better. Nick Chubb, though, maybe I bump him ahead. So many game script dependent. I got to buy low. Shut up. Like I can't get over the sell high Nick Chubbs. Yeah, he only played 53% of the snaps. Par for the course, specifically when you're facing a team like the freaking Chiefs. Like obviously they're going to be a little more pass happy, and yet the guy still put up an RB3 week, even on only 53% of the snaps. He's always been hyper efficient. I think anybody like looking to nitpick him, everything has to be perfect for. Well, everything is perfect because the guy is so damn dominant. And he fumbled too. Like that could have been an even higher finish. Love Nick Chubb, last year's worst run D in the league. I'm going to bump him up ahead of Henry the more I talk about this as we go. Aaron Jones, though, what a rebound situation. Detroit, he put up like 40 against them at week 2 last year. Could see a total rebound of that nature for him, for Rodgers, for the entire offense. It's tricky to have Mixon this low. I mean, the workhorse of all workhorses, 29 carries. What was the RB2 this last week with 23 points, 127 yards, receiving, 4 receptions, 33 touches, doing his best McCaffrey impression. Love the guy, looking like the best pick you could have made in round 2 should he stay healthy. Clearly the truth about him having no workload concerns. Love that. Tier 3, you go Ekeler. Then 9 is Taylor, 10 Gibson, 11 Zeke, 12 Carson, 13 Montgomery, 14 Swift, and 15 Harris. Kind of like your lower end RB1s, but still acceptable RB1s. No doubt about it. And I'm lower on Harris, as you can see here, 15 -7. Not for any particular reason. The guy played 100% of the snaps, saw all the work, 100% of the touches, like a great buy low in that sense, but didn't love the talent. I think they're going to attack the Raiders through their secondary over the air. So I like Harris, but it's more so about just liking these other names a little bit more right now than him. I think Ekeler, that one target was a fluke against Dallas, a shootout scenario. Love him to see 5 receptions, get back on the horse there. Taylor, good involvement throughout the day, plenty of receiving usage. What did it end up being? Like 6 targets, 7 targets, 6 catches, 60 yards. So the rushing output, pretty ugly. And that's where he usually dominates. But it was a decent Seattle defense up front. They couldn't get much going. So the fact that he put up 15, finishes a top 60 running back without a touchdown, with a minimal running performance, tells you about that expanded role. Yes, Hines was also heavily involved, but you love to see that from Jonathan Taylor. Check down Wentz, full effect. Gibson, huge workload, 20 carries. I believe that was 3rd in the league this last week. Gets a Giants defense middle of the pack, but should have a better game script to continue to pound out over them. Love the fact that McKissick barely saw the field, barely saw a target. So like him going forward. Zeke, 82% of the snaps. I know only 5 fantasy points, very discouraging, but I think that's a good rebound spot for the guy at the Chargers. Solid option. Good buy low right now if you can. Chris Carson, Tennessee. The only horse. I mean, he handled 15 of the 19 backfield touches this last week, 16 carries out of the 19 carries. Also saw 3 targets, 3 receptions. The true workhorse, and now Penny's hurt, gets a joke of a matchup versus Tennessee that got pummeled by Arizona in every facet of the game. He should get pummeled. Yeah, he's going to roll. He had a great game, just fumbled it, didn't find the end zone, so only meager 11 points. Many of those weeks are going to be 17-20, and I think that starts this week with Tennessee and Montgomery. Starts where he picked up. He looked so damn good against a tough Rams defense. Has to be in your top 15. Has to be considered an RB1. Swift as well, the leader in fantasy points per touch, showed why. So electric with the ball. Loved everything I saw from him. Now you got Miles Sanders in tier 4. He's like your high-end RB2s, mid-range RB2s. I'm going to probably cut this tier. I think it's a little too loaded here. I'll probably cut this tier right around the Gaskin area. So like a mid-tier. That's kind of what happens with running back. Like low-end RB1s become mid-grade RB2s. But Sanders is right on that cusp of hitting the RB1 tiers. Now, he did pop up as questionable today. Not sure why. What's going on there? Let's see if there's any news about that. Nope, just his game performance. He looked awesome. Over 100 total yards, as you can see here, 5 targets. Weirdly pulled at the stripe for Gainwell. Don't think that's going to continue, though. So I love him. Decent. San Fran gave it the most points to running backs. I don't think that's going to be a trend. They were the 7th fewest last year, but Detroit just attacks, and that's why I'm so high on Swift and a little bit higher on Jamal Williams at +3 ECR here. But Edwards-Helaire played all the touches, saw 14 to 15 touches, played 75% of snaps. Encouraging usage, but I wonder if he'll still ever get over those goal line woes, given how cute they get. We saw it again. Henderson was one of these stories. I was down on him coming into the year, and as long as he's healthy, I think I was wrong about that. Played almost every snap, 1 carry for Sony Michel. Darrell Henderson also got the goal line look, plunged in for it. Love to see it for his value. I faded him. Probably a mistake unless he gets hurt at this point. But against Indy, no real concerns. Good up front, but I still think this line, all the continuity, they're going to be great. Kareem Hunt had a big performance this week. I think he takes a little bit of a back seat. 16 fantasy points, RB 13. So damn talented and still going to be involved as a receiver, but how much are they going to need him to be involved as a receiver? My answer is probably not much against Houston. I think they're going to roll in a big rebound spot for the Chiefs. Gaskin, by far the best back there, created you over 25 yards on his own after contact, where he was at 0 for Ahmed and Malcolm Brown. You got to hope they wake up and just start feeding this guy. I love him. I thought Tyson Williams looked amazing. I still question, why did Latavius Murray get a lot of work? Not sure. Lower on Damian Harris. Worried about him being in the doghouse and getting benched late in this game. I might even go lower on him. I wouldn't be shocked to see J.J. Taylor kind of get a ton of work this game, get activated after not being a healthy scratch last week, and just them seeing, how does this kid roll? Benching Ramondre, benching Damian. I'd be nervous. I'm going to keep reading the signs there, but going to be lower on him this week. I'm going to bump Chase Edmonds ahead of him. Minnesota, not a great run D, not a great defense in general. Edmonds was heavily involved in every facet of the game, even during a blowout, so I love that. And yeah, Jacobs was a goal line monster. Had a great week, but he finished like RB6 on the week, I believe, RB11, thanks to 2 touchdowns. But look at that yardage. Does that not spook you? 34, 2 targets, 1 reception, 6 yards. He fell his ass in the end zone a couple times. I think that was a lucky finish. If he doesn't fall his ass in the end zone, he would have had like 5 points. And I think that could happen this week against Pittsburgh, a much stiffer defense than what Baltimore is rolling out. I do like Elijah Mitchell. I think I'm going to bump him up a little bit here in these rankings. Big fan of his game. I am worried. Could it be the Sermon game? Absolutely. Hannigan's has to worry you guys out. But ultimately, if you blew your fab on him, you probably want to keep him rolling. Saquon, as you can see, the lowest I am on pretty much anybody here. Won't be rolling him out Thursday night unless you truly have no other options. Didn't look great. Offense obviously looked horrible. And until he's getting that full workload and this offense is clicking at a better pace, I think he needs to be on benches until further notice. And then you round out the rankings. I'm not going to go into all these guys, but I'll tell you the rankings. 28, Jamal Williams. 29, Javonte. A little bit nervous, but Jacksonville, if there's ever a get-right spot, he saw good work, just didn't really pop any like Melvin Gordon did. So Gordon getting the start, preferred guy. Didn't like what Davis was showing, outgained by Cordarrelle Patterson on the ground. Now it's a stiffer Tampa Bay defense. He should be on your bench if you have any type of option. James Robinson as well at 32. I wish he was top 15. He should be top 15, but getting outstarted by Carlos Hyde. What is going on with that? Devin Singletary probably a bit more intriguing than I have him ranked here against Miami. Finished with 8 points. So nothing special, but James Robinson certainly wasn't. So 10 fantasy points, RB28. I think I'm going to bump him up a little bit, given that came in a tough Pittsburgh matchup. It's a little bit of an easier matchup with Miami that gave up just 100 yards last week to Damian Harris. I think Singletary could have a decent day there. Ronald Jones getting the start at Atlanta. I'm +4. I'm usually very low on Ronald Jones, but I think Aaron's going to try to get this guy going. If he's starting him, he's certainly trying to give him a chance. Now, if he fumbles it, that's the risk. But this is typically what happens with Jones. Once he gets his rebound spots, he gets all jacked up and has a big 122 touchdown day. Be intrigued. I think I'm going to bump him here. I might even open the rankings tool and start bumping these guys up because this was the first draft. I think he belongs maybe right around this Hines tier right there. I'm a bit higher on Hines, but I think they're going to have to throw a ton. They're not going to want to attack this team through the gut. And as you saw, RB21 this week, 8 targets, 6 catches, still a very big role there. And these are really round out the last of the usable guys. I really like streaming James White this week, especially if I'm lower on Harris. I could see them turning to J.J. Taylor and then James White now. Will they need to throw a lot against the Jets? Probably not, but he's by far the safest option. And right now, that might be what Belichick ends up rolling with. I think he could definitely get you some streaming value. Connor, it's great 16 carries, but didn't fall in the end zone. Murray's that goal line back. I'm worried he's just going to kind of be a blob all year. But Mark Ingram, 26 carries, led the second most of the league, maybe even the most, actually, this last week. 3.3 yards per carry, didn't do anything special. But volume is volume. I think he's still going to see it, but at a negative game script against Cleveland, that was everything working right for him. And then as you can see here, Fournette, Hyde, Dillon, Gainwell, Drake, Murray. Hopefully this early, you don't need to stream these guys. The most intriguing, +7 here with Trey Sermon. He's going to get the call up, and I would not be shocked if he was in the doghouse for a week and suddenly just got plastered with carries coming up this week. So he's probably the most intriguing name here of this list, a guy that could go for, 90 in a TD. He offers that upside, in my opinion. So that's the running backs. Again, let me know what questions you have there. What is up, you fantasy wolf? Thanks so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, share your thoughts in the comments. Check out some more videos and join the newest Wolfpack by subscribing below.